Where am I? Everything's red and squishy, and what's that big wavy wall below me? Hey, why can't I go through this thing?
Don't you know the rules of this world? You can't just stroll in like that.
Rules? What rules? And who even are you?
An amnesic molecule, huh? Figures. Alright, welcome to the cell membrane, the border between extracellular land and the intracellular kingdom. I'm your guide. Call me Zyme. Come on, let me remind you of the ways of our life. This entire wall is made of phospholipids, arranged in what we call the phospholipid bilayer, two layers of molecules that form the foundation of the cell membrane. Each phospholipid is amphipathic. This means it has both a hydrophilic, water-loving head and a hydrophobic, water-fearing tail. The hydrophilic heads face the watery environment inside and outside the cell, while the hydrophobic tails face each other, forming a barrier in the middle. Because of this setup, the membrane is selectively permeable. Only small, non-polar molecules like oxygen or carbon dioxide can pass through easily. Larger or charged molecules need special help.
So that's why I can't get through. I must not be small or non-polar enough.
But don't worry, you're not locked out forever. See those giant large structures floating around? They're proteins, and they make up part of what we call the fluid mosaic model. First up, the integral proteins. These are permanent parts of the membrane. They have hydrophobic regions that interact with the lipid tails and hydrophilic regions that face the watery sides. Some of these go all the way through. Those are transmembrane proteins. They act as channels or carriers for specific molecules.
Oh, so that's how things get through the wall.
Exactly. Then we have peripheral proteins. They don't go through the membrane. They just attach loosely to the surface. They help with communication, support, and anchoring the membrane to the cell's internal structures. Now, meet cholesterol. These little yellow molecules wedge between the phospholipids. They help regulate membrane fluidity, so it's not too stiff when it's cold, not too runny when it's hot. They also make the membranes less permeable to small polar molecules.
So it's like the temperature control system?
Exactly. And see those little sugar chains sticking out from the surface? Those are attached to glycoproteins and glycolipids. They're like ID cards, helping cells recognize friends or enemies.
Oh, so they're like security guards of the kingdom.
You catch on quick. Glycoproteins are proteins with carbohydrate chains attached. They help cells recognize each other. Glycolipids are important in immune recognition. Glycolipids are lipids with carbohydrates attached. They help cells communicate and organize into tissues.
Wow, this isn't just a wall. It's an entire mini world with all its parts. Can we go in now?
Let's go.
Whoa, it's bustling in here. So many proteins and gates. What's going on?
Now that you're inside, it's time to learn what all these structures actually do. Every protein, every lipid, every structure has a job. First, junctions. They connect cells and keep the kingdom organized. There are three types. Firstly, tight junctions. They seal neighboring cells tightly, preventing leaks. Next, desmosomes. They act like rivets, holding cells together but allowing some flexibility. And finally, gap junctions. They're tiny tunnels that let ions and molecules directly pass between cells.
So they're like streets and bridges connecting the city.
Exactly. Skin or gut cells rely heavily on these junctions. Some membrane proteins act like enzymes. They speed up reactions right at the membrane surface. They help with processes like digestion, signaling, and energy production.
Like chefs in a kitchen?
Yes, these enzymes help reactions happen efficiently right when materials leave or enter. For example, enzymes in the digestive system's epithelial membranes break down nutrients as they pass in. Next up, transport proteins. They basically control who gets in and out. Passive transport moves substances down their concentration gradient without any energy needed. Active transport uses ATP, or energy, to move molecules against the gradient.
So they're like toll gates, letting some through freely, others only with a ticket.
Exactly. Think of ion channels, pumps, and protein carriers. They maintain homeostasis, or the kingdom's internal balance. Cells need to know friend from foe. That's where cell recognition comes in. Remember those sugar chains? They help the immune system identify friendly cells and detect invaders. Even blood type depends on specific carbohydrate markers on red blood cell membranes. Some proteins anchor the membrane to the cytoskeleton inside, or the extracellular matrix outside. Integrins are special transmembrane proteins that attach cells to structural proteins, like collagen.
That's like roots and beams holding the city in place.
Exactly. Without these connections, the kingdom would collapse. Skin cells, for example, rely on integrins connecting to collagen fibers to maintain strength. Finally, signal transduction. Membrane receptors receive signals, like hormones or neurotransmitters, and trigger a response inside the cell.
Like a messenger delivering instructions.
Yes. For instance, insulin receptors on muscle cells trigger glucose uptake from the bloodstream. That's how the cell responds to its environment.
Wow. This place isn't just a barrier, it's a living, dynamic system that protects, communicates, and controls what happens inside the cell.
Exactly. The cell membrane is the ultimate gatekeeper, flexible, selective, and essential for life itself.
Then let's find that transmembrane protein and head inside.
And that's how life stays balanced. One phospholipid, one protein, and one brave little molecule at a time. Signal transduction. Membrane receptors receive signals, like hormones or neurotransmitters, and trigger a response inside the cell.
Like a messenger delivering instructions.
Yes. For instance, insulin receptors on muscle cells trigger glucose uptake from the bloodstream. That's how the cell responds to its environment.
Wow. This place isn't just a barrier, it's a living, dynamic system that protects, communicates, and controls what happens inside the cell.
Exactly. The cell membrane is the ultimate gatekeeper, flexible, selective, and essential for life itself.
Then let's find that transmembrane protein and head inside.
And that's how life stays balanced. One phospholipid, one protein, and one brave little molecule at a time.